Of course, my inevitable return to booktube has to be with me talking trash about books. Like, how else could I come back? How else could I come back? Nice? Peaceful? Sweet? No, absolutely not. We're here to talk about the books that wasted my time in 2024. So, hi, welcome. It's been a while since I've been on this platform, but we'll see how it goes. It's 2025. Maybe this year I'll stick it out the whole year on booktube. But let's start talking trash. Let's start talking about these books that absolutely were not worth my time. So last year, I started my year pretty rocky because one of the books that my book club read, I'm So Not Over You, I had to DNF. Clarity, full transparency, most of the books on this list I DNF'd because it was not worth my time and I was not going to suffer through them. Absolutely not. But I'm So Not Over You was a pain because our main character was incredibly annoying. The love interest had absolutely no charm. I had no reason why our main character was so into him. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I couldn't deal with the lip service to, there's no ethical way to be mega wealthy. But I'm still going to thirst over this guy who's in a super wealthy family, though. No. Please stop. Next up is Teacher of the Year. Now listen, this was sad. This was sad because I read another book by this author that I absolutely loved, but I had to DNF this one. I had to DNF this one because Marvin is awful. Marvin is awful. I couldn't stand him. I couldn't see how I was supposed to root for him in any way, shape, or form. He was insufferable. Some of the quotes in here, I was like, are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? Like, I'm paraphrasing, but there was one specifically that I can't forget that he was basically like, no, whoever I date has to be mentally stable because I'm too mentally unstable. And we were talking about a man with OCD. Stop. Stop. No. Can't do it. Apart from that, as a teacher, the unmentionable things that are done in Marvin, who's a teacher's classroom closet, no. Like, I get it for all of y'all that are into it, love it, adore it for you. I can't do it. I don't have the constitution for it. And lastly, Olin was boring. Olin was a cardboard cutout of a man. There was no substance to him. I couldn't deal with that. No, DNF. The Kraken Sacrifice, on the other hand, I did in fact finish. I finished it and I felt absolutely betrayed by Katee Robert. Like most books by Katee Robert, the bare threshold is a 3-star. So like I enjoy it. It's fine, but it's always 3 and up. This, the love interest Thane, awful. Again, awful. Absolutely neglectful, absent-minded. The things he puts Catalina through, no. Unacceptable. Trash. In the garbage heap, please. I couldn't. I made it all the way through just to see how Katee Robert would resolve everything, but it was not worth it. It was not worth it because nothing that transpired was worth him being forgiven. No. The next one is The Luminous Dead, which was the sci-fi book club of one of the months last year of the Interstellar Book Club. I, once again, ended up DNFing this one. And this one, everything I got told of the events that happened after the point that I DNF'd pissed me off even more. Like, it was absurd. It was ridiculous. Like, spoilers ahead, but the general premise of this novel is about this woman who is going on this caving expedition and finds out a lot of other people who were sent before her died doing the same freaking expedition, but the person who hired her just keeps hiring more people to do this incredibly dangerous expedition. And at some point, there's just a naked man running around who was like the previous person who went into the caves before her. But beyond that, the ending of this is that our main character and her handler, aka the person who hired her, develop like romantic feelings for each other, quote unquote fall in love, are gonna be together after the shit show that happens to our main character. No, I don't know how many other ways I can say it, But that's unacceptable. I cannot stand for that. Absolutely not. Now, as for the last book that actually made me feel hate in my heart, because I'm going to go into disappointing reads, it was the Handyman Method. I read it beginning to end. I exclusively have regrets. Exclusively have regrets. Because what do you mean you're going to write a novel that's supposed to critique misogyny and the expectations that are set upon men and the way that they buy into these expectations and start doing absurd things to try to live up to this standard of masculinity? And then you're ending, spoilers to be clear, your ending's gonna be, we're all just gonna blame it on a woman now. Because our main character is falling down a rabbit hole, right? Of more and more of this behavior, stereotypical manly behavior. His wife decides to spare his life. But by sparing him, that means that every single other man is going to be contaminated with this toxic mentality, this toxicity of what it means to be a man and what their behavior should be. And so that's how you're going to resolve it? Just blame women again? No. I don't see how we were trying to make points and somehow ended up here. Someone explain it to me, because I'm livid. Now, in terms of disappointments, I have a few to talk about as well. So let's start with something soft that was just more personally sad for me that I couldn't get into it. And that's My Summer Girl. I've read 2 other novellas by this author, 2 other monster romance novellas, loved them, absolutely adored them. They came out with this chonker of a book as the 3rd installment in that series. I couldn't get through it. It was so repetitive. The narrative was not going anywhere. Like, it kept stalling and stalling for the sake of what? I don't know. It did not need to be this long. The Silent Patient is another one that I DNF'd because it's the epitome of what I hate about this genre. Like, what I find so unappealing about it. It's just mundane. Such mundane problems, such boring main characters. I was completely and utterly unengaged. I had to give up. Immortal Pleasures. Now this one, okay. This one I firmly believe, I firmly stand on the opinion that this has a target audience. There is an audience out there who's gonna eat this up. I'm sadly not that person. I'm just sad because I loved the other V. Castro book that I read, The Haunting of Alejandra. Beautiful, incredible. But this one, all I'm gonna say is the unorthodox uses for butter in this, unnecessary. The descriptions we get of activity that is done in the bedroom, uncalled for. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. But I know out there are the people who are gonna love this. Not everyone will, but out there exists that audience. Now this one's gonna be controversial for, I think, the majority of manga readers who read GL and have read this series. But I'm sorry, she loves to cook and she loves to eat. Get that oral fixation away from me. Get it away from me, because I know what you are. I know what you are. You can't hide it from me. There's no reason to draw that character while she's eating and her chompers like that. Her teeth? Stop. You can't. No, absolutely not. I don't know how people are just like, this is so wholesome and cute. I've not encountered another similar manga who draws chompers like that and it's meant to be innocent and cute. I'm sorry. No. Live your delusional life, that's okay. But I'm going to stand firmly in that this oral fixation is weird. And finally, the last disappointment was honestly crushing because I love Silvia Moreno Garcia. I don't love everything she writes, but I still passionately feel love in my heart for her work. And that's the Daughter of Dr Maro. I tried 2 times to get through this. I couldn't. I DNF'd it both times. No. The big dilemma, I think, is more subjective and personal to me, which is, why are we reading about a 35-year-old man who's smitten with a 20-year-old woman who he met and lived with since she was 14 years old? No. I don't care about historical accuracy. I don't care that it's a historical setting. This is, at the end of the day, though, fiction and sci-fi. There's literal non-human creatures here. You can't play around with the historical accuracy. No. No. And the worst part, like, it's mutual. Like, both of them are infatuated with each other. And there's this whole, like, love triangle thing going on. No. I couldn't stand by it. No, I couldn't do it. The other aspect that I couldn't deal with was the fact that this was dual POV, but it was a waste of dual POV. Like, dual POV is supposed to give you more, like, added context and complexity to the same event or what's going on around the same time that different events are happening. But this was just repetitive. Like, we'd get, like, maybe 1 or 2 sentences of something new, right? Added context by seeing the same scene from the perspective of the other character. But it was not enough to justify it. Like, there was no need to go over these events twice. No. So yeah, those were my worst and most disappointing reads of 2024. Let me know down in the comments if you agree, you disagree, what other books were in your most disappointing or worst books of the year. I want to know.